Hi, today I'm going to go through my language learning plans for 2025 and I am honestly just having fun with it. I'd love to be able to talk in a basic way in these languages, but ultimately I just want to have fun. I just want to understand more, so I don't really care that much about myself speaking and being that fluent from that point of view. I'm going to tell you the 3 languages I'm going to be focusing on this year. It's actually 3.5. I'm gonna start with the half, what I mean by that. This was a recommendation from my boyfriend and it is remembering the kanji. I think my memory sucks, and so this was recommended to me because it's essentially using imaginative memory to memorize all the kanji. So you have the kanji and then you have an image that you associate with it. You're trying to use some other things to memorize what the kanji looks like and therefore what it means. I was looking at how to improve my memory and it all started by reading a book. I'm reading it on my Kindle and it goes through advanced techniques on how to memorize things. Basically techniques that memory masters use to remember a lot of pieces of information. I've been interested in memory and therefore I do want to learn the kanji, but not because I necessarily want to learn the kanji. It's just more about practicing the memory, but it does go into the language learning stuff. Now that we got that out of the way, there are 3 languages that I will be focusing on. First one you might know because I posted a little haul and I showed that I bought a Russian course book. I already speak Bulgarian and so I will not struggle reading Russian. I actually did have some lessons in Russian already 3 years ago, I want to say, and I don't actually remember anything at all. I'm sorry, but I do have some things from then. What I want to gauge my progress by is essentially, have I gone through this textbook? Have I done all the exercises and understood the exercises and got the exercises mostly right? Very similar with Norwegian. So I have this I love Teach Yourself. I have Norwegian, I have one more which I'll show you in a moment, and I have Japanese, and I have Cantonese, and I have a few more in my basket, in my Amazon basket. I want to go to Norway and I want to be able to understand and also speak some Norwegian. I think Norwegian is not too difficult to learn, at least from what I can tell, because I've done a little bit already on Duolingo and things like that, and I have listened to some Norwegian, and I think it's not the most difficult language to pick up, but it's still difficult because it's still a different language, right? But I think it's interesting and I mainly want to learn it because I want to visit Norway. Similarly, I want to go through this entire textbook. There are 15 chapters, so I think this will be easier than the Russian textbook actually. By the end of this, I'm hoping that I'll be able to understand a random podcast, like 50% maybe, like understand half what they're saying. That'll be good. Speaking wise, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I do want to be able to have like a 3-minute conversation in each of these languages. I think that would be a good starting point. Russian, Norwegian, and my final one, Korean. I have 2 books. This one is specifically a grammar book, and then this is the Teach Yourself Korean. I've actually already gone through this book, but realistically I've only gone through half of it in more details, but I actually need to go through it again because I left it for a long time. Felt like I rushed through the exercises just to carry on because everything felt so overwhelming. That's another reason why I want to go through the kanji, is because the Korean words sound so different from anything I'm used to, so I don't really have something to anchor it to. So I think it would help having some practice in memorizing things that are foreign to me. I think that might help with Korean. I'm not sure, but anyways, I will go through this textbook as well as this textbook. I watch K-dramas, so hopefully I'll be able to watch K-dramas without the subtitles and understand what's going on. Going through this and understanding the exercises I think will be the most difficult out of all the languages. That's it really. Russian, Norwegian, and Korean. Well, I want to finish these textbooks. I want to read them and do all the exercises and understand for the most part. And then I also want to be able to have a 3-minute conversation about myself in each of those languages by the end of the year. How I'm thinking of spreading it out. Thinking of doing 6 months focusing on Norwegian and Russian. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday one language, and then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday the other language. And then when it gets to the second half of the year, then just commit to Korean. And then memorizing the kanji is just throughout the whole year. There are 2,200 kanji. Spreading that maybe throughout the whole year is probably okay, and that would put me in a good place, I guess, to learn Japanese. I mean, it doesn't really, but it'll give me some extra knowledge, so I feel pretty happy about that. Let me know in the comments what your language learning plans are for this year, whether you've started already, which languages you're doing. If you have any tips for any of these that I mentioned today, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.